40% of our business is products from China. Fortunate that earlier this week, there's been a rollback on tariffs brought down from the 145 to 30%.
China's defiant stance in negotiating a tariff truce with the US has convinced some countries they need to take a tougher position in their own trade talks with Donald Trump. The pause reached a week ago gave structure to what promised to be prolonged and difficult rounds of talks between Washington and Beijing, which still faces average US import taxes nearly 50%, where past levies are factored into the 30% rate agreed. Yet US President Donald Trump's willingness to retreat so much from earlier 145% duty on China surprised governments from Seoul to Brussels that have so far stuck with the US request to negotiate rather than retaliate against its tariffs. After China's tough negotiating tactics earned a favorable deal, nations taking a more diplomatic approach are questioning whether that's the right path. This shifts the negotiating dynamic. While officials are loath to signal publicly any hardening of their approach, there are signs, particularly from larger nations, that they're realizing they hold more cards than previously thought and can afford to slow the pace of negotiations. South Korea's leading presidential candidate Lee Jae-myung said there is no need to rush for any early agreement in trade negotiations with the US, criticizing the interim government for what he called a hasty engagement with Trump administration. Trump himself indicated last week near the halfway point of the 90-day reprieve that there isn't time to do deals with about 150 countries lining up for them, so the US may assign the higher tariff rates unilaterally in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
So in the next month and a half, it'll be important to see what is announced. In the meantime, what we can do is increase production and bring in product that will arrive before that date.
While Trump also said that India was prepared to lower all tariffs on US goods, the nation's external affairs minister told reporters that trade talks are ongoing and any judgment on it would be premature. Japan's trade minister Yoshimoto skipped a regional meeting last week in nearby South Korea that U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer attended. Officials in Brussels view the U.S.-China tariff announcement as leaving high tariffs in place and limited on several fronts. Brazil president, who previously said negotiation came before retaliation, on Wednesday brushed off concern that forging deeper ties with China would prompt a negative U.S. response after a state visit to Beijing that saw him sign more than 30 agreements.